Good morning, guys. How you doing? Happy Monday. It's nice and snowy here in Fort Erie, so it should be interesting. I'm a little bit earlier today, just so I can get out there and shovel my way out so I can go to work. Hope you guys are fantastic where you are. So today we're going to talk about how to say no and how to do it politely. Okay, so let's get into our article. Is by Daniel Potter. I found this on a Grammarly blog, so let's check her out. Saying no isn't always easy, but it is often necessary. That's true both at work and in personal relationships. When a colleague asks you to take on a project you don't have the bandwidth for, pushing back without leaving them feeling rebuffed is a valuable skill. Likewise, when you get an invite, you're just not up for it. Knowing how to say no politely keeps things from getting weird and awkward. So, how do you finesse over your tone over email or text so the person you're turning down knows you still care? Below you'll find 5 strategies as well as examples to how to say no politely. So let's get into it. What's the first one? Cushion it with kindness or a compliment. A favorite of a grandmother's everywhere, this is a classic I love you, but no. The idea is to give the recipient a few words of good about despite the rejection. So here's an example. This sounds like a great opportunity, but I have to pass. Thank you for considering me. Example number 2. Your proposal is intriguing, and I'm glad you brought it up, but it's not a good fit for us. The last phrase borrows from the long-term contributor to the venerable New Yorker, John McPhee, whose turn down of choice was a mild as it's brief, not for us. Number 2, give your reasons. Besides compliments, another thing the person you're saying no to might appreciate is knowing why. Sometimes it's best to be candid about your constraints. So here's 3 examples on this one. First one is, I can't handle the meeting for this afternoon. I'm busy onboarding a new hire and have a deadline I need to hit. Interesting. Cool. Next one, this is a sweet pitch, but our organization doesn't have a budget for this kind of project right now. Third one, a trip to Portland sounds like fun. Thanks. Unfortunately, I won't have the time to swing it in this summer. In other cases, you might prefer to reveal as little as possible, which case read on or listen. Be brief, but not burlesque. You don't always have to explain yourself when telling someone no. Still, it's often more considerate to provide a straight-up no rather than a non-response, because leaving people wondering tends to read as thoughtlessness. And while it is generally wise to keep this type of message brief, it's possible to be too short. It's a bad example. I can't help with that. Better, when we say, sadly, I'm afraid I can't help with that. Note the use of the word sadly above. It shows you recognize the answer probably won't thrill the recipient, and it brings you no joy to say no. Another fine example is, thank you for thinking of me for this assignment. I can't take more work on right now, but please keep in touch. Cool. The words right now in the last example suggest you might be open to other assignments down the road. Saying so politely helps keep your options open. In the meantime, this brings us to our 4th strategy. Number 4, leave the door cracked. Sometimes you don't want to say no as much as not now. Here's an example. Your point about needing to rejuvenate and streamline our process is well taken. Why don't we put our heads together about it once the current round of hiring is done? Number 2, thanks. I'd love to speak at your event, but the timing this year is no good. Would you please keep me in mind for your summit? Speaking of which, I do have a summit coming up this Saturday, January 22nd and January 23rd. Come join us. Just look on my Facebook page. There is a link there. It's with my good friend RJ Horner. We're putting on an event How about the Betterment Life? It'd be awesome. Come check her out. All right, carry on with our article. Handy though this approach is, use it sparingly. Put someone off indefinitely can come off as a lot less polite than telling them no on the outset. 5. Offer an alternative. While your answers might be no in the interest of courtesy, occasionally you'll want to help out the recipient in another way by suggesting another time or a different option, perhaps. Here's a couple examples. I can't make the senator available for an interview before your deadline, but I'm happy to put you in touch with our chief of staff. She'll give you background on our policy if that's helpful to your story. Give an alternative. Nice. Example, it's not realistic for me to meet for coffee and career advice right now. My colleague Francis is interested in talking on more of a mentorship role and may have some insights you'll find worthwhile. May I introduce you? Number 3 example. I can't pick up the weekend shift for you this time, but I can cover you Monday if you need a day to recover afterwards. Cool. Telling people no is an essential part of life. While you don't always have to offer the recipient a plan B or an explanation, it's often worthy taking the time to express yourself kindly. If you guys agree, let me know. Leave a comment below if you agree with being politely saying no to people. Good to know. And don't forget to check out my summit on January 22nd and January 23rd of this year, obviously. It's called the Betterment Life Symposium. All right, thanks, guys. Have a great day, and we will see you all later. All right, StreamYard, take care.